Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire, and by Tri-State Megabucks and the New Hampshire Lottery, helping New Hampshire schools one ticket at a time. WNDS Sports presents Candlepin Stars and Strikes, featuring the best candlepin bowlers from all over New England. And now, in our 18th season, here's your host for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, Dick Lutz and Mike Morin.
Hello again, everybody. It is great to have you with us for another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin, and we're watching some of the best candlepin bowlers in the world week after week, and we've reached the semifinal round of this ladder series.
And the winner of today's match will bowl top seed Mike Morgan next week. Today, a veteran of better than 100 television appearances and a rookie, so it should be a contrast of styles today.
Let's meet our bowlers competing this afternoon for a berth in the finals of this ladder series. First, our winner last week by a score of 395 to 381 over Bill Treeful. He's number 3 seed Steve Vadney from Claremont, New Hampshire.
Steve Vadney is first time back after almost 3 years, coming in with an average of 128. High single 197. His high triple is 488. And he visits us today from the Sunset Lanes in Newport, New Hampshire. And
Steve rolled a 683 in the roll-off to earn his number 3 seed. And he will be taking on the number 2 seed, making his television debut. And the whole town of Gardner is here to watch Gary Cormier this afternoon.
Oh, listen to those fans. Gary's average 126. High single is 202. High triple is 457. He bowls at Brian's Bowlaway in Gardner, Massachusetts.
It's Steve Vadney and Gary Cormier. Let's get right to it. Candlepin Stars and Strikes coming up on WNDS TV. We'll be right back. Today's match, we started with 5. And we're down to 3. The top 3 seeds still alive as Bill Treeful and Sean McKinley have been eliminated. It's Steve Vadney taking on Gary Cormier this afternoon, with Mike Morgan facing the winner next week. And Steve Vadney will be first to bowl here this afternoon at Leda Lanes in Nashua. Great crowd on hand. And Gary Cormier making his television debut. A lot of people have come down from Gardner to root him on.
What I want to know is who's selling furniture there today.
The furniture capital of the world. Steve Vadney, first ball, 5 pin still stands. Surrounded by wood, but the wood rolls away.
So he's got a nice clean shot at the 5 pin, also known as the king pin.
And he missed it. He threw it badly. He slipped at the line. And he will not pick up the spare. I thought you were the king pin.
That was a funny movie. Did you see that with Woody Harrelson?
I did.
Randy
9
Quaid.
box for Steve Vadney.
Tough start for Vadney, who had 395 last week, edging out Bill Treeful by about 14 pins or so.
Over to lane 33. Missed the head pin. The 1, 2, 7, and 10. We'll be reading some cards and letters and emails that we've received from you over the past several weeks. We love to hear from you. Steve Vadney picks up a nice spare. So a spare in the second frame for Steve Vadney from Claremont, New Hampshire, and we get our first look at Gary Cormier from Gardner. Bowls at Brian's Bowlaway. Brian Favreau, one of the people here to watch him. And the first ball off the head pin. 36 years old, an optical technician, lens grinder at the Medical Scopes Precision Optics in Gardner. Carries an average of 126, a high single bowled recently at Brian's Bowlaway of 202, where they had a 208 rolled a couple of weeks ago by a gentleman named Randy Moore, bowling in one of the leagues there at 208. Gary opens with an 8 box. Right on the head. He told me he expected to be a little bit nervous through the first couple of boxes, and I told him he should expect to be nervous through the first couple of boxes.
He doesn't look like he is, though.
After that, it's just simply bowling. Nice shot. Made a good try. Big rooting gallery. You'll get to see a lot of his family in the front row. Mother, grandmother, girlfriend here to root him on, and more behind us. Steve Vadney has his family here as well. Steve working on a spare. Steve, 50 years old, Missed the head pin, half Worcester left side, 2 in the spare. Steve works at Sturm Ruger in Newport, New Hampshire. Almost picked up the spare. He and his wife Annette have 2 children, Jennifer, a 1998 graduate of Bryant College, and a son, Steve. 10 box for Steve Vadney.
Well, he's been on a host of shows, Dick, over the years. 57 times on Channel 50. That's probably the most of anybody. 25 times on the Boston show and other shows on Nesson, and probably shows that people have totally forgotten about, totaling over 100.
Oh, Channel 27 used to have a show, and several different cable shows over the years. That note that you have on his bio of his bowling over 1,500 for 10 strings is a remarkable statistic.
That's right. It's a 150 average for 10 games. He was one of the first, actually he was the first bowler to do that. Did it in 1985 at Park Place Lanes in Wyndham, which used to be the home of this show.
Now Gary Cormier on lane 34. Missed the head pin as he looks for his first mark. $10 box for Gary. And I'm sure as each box progresses, the butterflies leave a little bit. That's right in the pocket. That's a nice first ball.
Well, he really fires that thing down the lane,
He's got a good-looking delivery, yeah.
There's a lot of action on the ball, good rotation, and a lot of sidewall action, which is very helpful on this thin hit.
There's the first mark. And that has a way of settling things down. Now Steve Vadney. Off the head pin. Steve likes horseshoes, softball, classic cars. Owns a 1966 Mustang and a Nissan 300 ZX with his son, so he likes to get out there and travel the roads.
I always like the Nissan 300 ZXs. They don't make them anymore. It's a rear-wheel drive, high-performance sports car. Not too good in the snow, but it's a beautiful car, and it was a tight ride.
Open frame in the 5th, and 8 of 46 half for Steve. Can he break up the split? No, he cannot. The 6 and the 7 with nothing to help out. One at a time. There goes the 6.
So the 7-pin remains, struggling after games of 133, 119, and 143 last week. So Gary Cormier looking to fill his first spare in his very first television experience. Spare in the 4th. This will be his fill ball.
There's the strike inside the spare. So he'll be looking for bonus money.
I bet the butterflies are all but gone now.
Now we're looking for some money here. 2 strikes in a row. Here we have $1,050 in the triple strike jackpot. So he'll be coming to the line. Looking for some heavy cash.
So now the butterflies are there, but for a new reason.
Steve Vadney tries to respond.
So the 7-pin pretty much a straight shot. There's a bit of wood just a little bit to the right of it.
He missed it, which is almost impossible.
I think he was hoping to totally avoid hitting the piece of wood out there, and he overcompensated by a couple inches too much.
$10 for Steve Vadney, so he finds himself in an early hole here against Gary Cormier. Missed the head pin as he crossed over to the Brooklyn side, but has a tough shot here with some wood on the deck to help out. The 1, 7, 8, and 10. A lot of woods to go spraying here. Will he take it? No, he will not. The 7 pin still stands, so he's open in 7 of the 8 frames here in the first string, and that will be a 10 box, 76 through 8. This is worth $1,050 for young Gary Cormier, making his television debut. And all you have to do is watch for $1,050.
Well, that's a 75 half and a big lead over seasoned veteran Steve Vadney.
And another mark. 4 marks in a row, $75 in bonus money. Trying to keep it going.
And he's all business.
That's off the head pin. Goes to the second pocket and puts 6 in the spare.
How's that for a television debut, huh?
He's going to miss the spare. So the consecutive mark streak runs out at 4. It will be an 8 box. He's at 119 through 8.
So there's a 43-pin lead, and the first game isn't even over yet.
Well, Steve Vadney's been in this position before.
And probably worse after over 100 television appearances. He will just continue to plug away very consistently, as he always does.
A little soft on the head pin that time.
Hugh Ferguson is visiting with us today, and we've been chatting with him a little bit about Steve Vadney.
Steve with a spare in the 9th frame.
So a chance to finish somewhere near 120. No, not with that, Phil.
He could use another mark here. He's not going to get it, though. So he is at 95. '97 first string for Steve Vadney. Gary Cormier is already at 119.
We'll update you on some senior professional Candlepin Bowling Association news in the next string. We're almost done with this game, so I won't get started on it. We were talking last week to both Bill Treeful and Steve Vadney about the Senior Pro Tour.
Another spare for Gary Cormier.
Where have they been hiding this guy all this time?
Put 6 in the spare and leave himself a tough shot.
A lot of wood to work with on the right side in front of the 610.
Not going to make it. He's at 143. .144 first string for Gary Cormier, and a 47-pin lead over Steve Vadney, heading to string number 2 on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua on WNDS TV. Gary Cormier first to bowl in the 2nd string as we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Moran and our entire WNDS TV crew. Our director today, Kevin LaFawn. On graphics, Monica Colby. On audio, Don Cronin. Video, Paul Hunter. The camera crew of Steve Kenny, Steve Gregoire, and Kevin Sheehan, and our scorer in-house, Paul Willett. All happy to have you with us to watch the best Candlepin bowlers in the world.
Gary Cormier's cousin Kevin is the webmaster of candlepincorner.com, an excellent Candlepin bowling website. If you are new to computers or you've just never really got much out of the internet, if you love bowling, go to candlepincorner.com. You see a lot about our show and the goings on in the professional and amateur bowling world.
Got a letter from David Flaherty of Milton, Massachusetts, Michael, and he had written us before, and he says that I read his letter and I made an error. I said he was 89 years old. He's not 89 years old. He's only 51 years old.
Oops.
But the bowling league that he belongs to is 89 years old. It's the oldest one in the state of Massachusetts. Please make this change. Mr. Flaherty, I apologize for the mistake. And congratulations for being in the bowling league that is now 89 years old. And happy birthday to you whenever your birthday is, and many more of them.
Yeah, that's a bit of a discrepancy, huh? I'd be a little alarmed if I heard somebody saying I was 89 and I just turned 51. We have some
I hope
email.
someday somebody says I am 89 and I am 89.
Bowling at WNDS.com if you'd like to get in touch with us electronically. Dick and Mike, as a viewer of your program since its inception, I have enjoyed it these years. But I have one question for you. The question is this: why, in hosting a sports show, do you wear business suits? In these days of relaxed and appropriate wear, a sweatshirt with WNDS on the front would seem much more suitable than your stuffy, tailored clothing. Well, I got news for you. It ain't tailored.
It ain't stuffy either.
And that's an observation of an 80-year-old woman. That's Lillian Alpa, who writes to us and would like to see us wear something perhaps a little more comfortable. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
I've often thought about it. I've often thought about wearing golf shirts with the logo on it and being a little less formal. Gary Cormier.
Well, if we make the change, you know, I got 4 years left on payments on these suits. Can we at least wait till then?
Well, mine has to be back by midnight. Gary Cormier will not pick up the spare. So he's cooled off a little bit. He'll be open through the first 3 frames of this string.
We would love to get everybody's feedback on do you prefer the suit look, or would you like to see something more casual? I'm just kind of curious. I don't know what people really think, and I don't even know if it's important or not. But if you have feedback for us, bowling at WNDS.com. Let us know.
Again, he threw it to the Brooklyn side and left himself a split. So he was right on the head pin, but it was very unforgiving this time.
Dick, I think Lillian just wants to see that chiseled look underneath your suit. Wants to see that buff arms and chest you got.
Not going to pick up the spare, so he'll be open through the first 4.
Chance for Vadney now to chip away the better than 40-pin deficit. It was actually 47 pins.
And a 9 box, so 4 9s to start out the second string for Gary Cormier. That's after a 144 first string. This game is so fickle, it's unbelievable. From hot to cold to hot to cold. Steve Vadney works on a spare. Threw it away.
But
look at this. Look at this. Look at this. He threw it away, and he got 9.
And on top of that, he's got a guide that'll take it right into the head pin.
That pin is frozen. A real wide margin for error here for Steve Vadney. The spare is there.
To have missed that would have been a mortal sin.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky.
Oh, it's always better to be lucky. Well, he's gotten about anywhere from 10 to 20 pins back now of the 47-pin deficit he began with.
On a spare. And a strike goes in the spare. 3 marks in a row. $50 in bonus money. We go to Mark, and the momentum has shifted. We go to the break. With this match getting closer, we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Gary Cormier ready to bowl on lane 34. This match has tightened up. It is now a 26-pin lead, less what Steve Vadney gets on his strike fill. Look at this shot by Gary Cormier. A clutch spare, and he really needed it.
6 in the 10 with the last 2 pins to go. Surprising even Gary, I think, didn't expect it to go quite that way.
Working on the spare. A good pocket shot that time in the 5-pin. Did not move.
So after a bit of a drought with 4 open frames, Gary Cormier has found the groove again.
Right on the 5-pin. 2 marks in a row. So these bowlers are warming up. It's somewhat of a frenetic pace to this match,
Boy,
too, isn't it?
That is for sure.
Working on a strike. Steve Vadney. 3 marks in a row. On the head pin. Breaks up the split. Puts 8 in the strike with the first ball. Has a chance to make it 4 marks in a row. Again, the object pin here is key. Spare. So Steve Vadney has warmed up to the occasion after a 97 first string.
With a strike, he'll be within 10 pins of that already in the 5th frame. Possible 87.5 for Vadney with a strike here.
He's off the head pin. He's only going to put 4 in the mark.
Well, that'll cool a hot streak off in a hurry to get a bad fill after 4 marks in a row, and a very difficult spare. 2 double woods in there.
Look at this for a spare. So Steve Vadney.
Well, he's cut the deficit better than in half in just 6 frames. Bowlers working at a very quick clip here today. You're getting lots of marks.
There's a shot for Gary Cormier. 3 marks in a row for Gary. That's $50 more in bonus money. Put 6 in the mark.
Getting a great spare shooting exhibition by these 2 great Candlepin professionals. The runner-up of which today will be rewarded with $300. The winner goes on to face top seed in this latter series, Mike Morgan of Lynn.
Almost pulled it off for a nice out. 9. Steve Vadney has 5 marks in a row. $100 in bonus money for Vadney, $125 for Gary Cormier in this match.
And the high score between these 2 bowlers is rewarded with a $50 bonus payout at the end of the match.
Right on the head pin, breaks up the split. The 4 and the 7 are still up there.
And he's got some great wood, so this will not be a difficult shot.
Another mark.
6 in a row. He's on his way to running the table, but he had such a huge deficit to overcome. He is still behind, but not by much.
Six marks in a row for Steve Vadney. Over to lane 33. Missed the head pin. Put 6 in the spare.
He's up against an open frame from Cormier in the 8th frame, but a mark would give him another 10 pins to work with.
Got a shot at it. Oh, he left the 8 pin. $10, 125 through 8. The match, the differential now 18 pins.
So he shaved 29 pins off the Cormier lead through 8 frames.
There's a strike for Gary Cormier. He works quickly, moves right over to lane 33, wasting no time. Threw it past the head pin. Still has another ball to go to fill the strike. The 1, 3, 6, and 7.
Somebody better tell him that the faster he bowls translates to more time than he's going to talk to us at the end.
Another spare for Gary Cormier.
Actually, he's got to stay on the same lane.
Stay
he
on
wasn't
the same
sure.
lane, right?
You always finish your 10th frame where you begin it. No matter, you know, if you get 1 spare or 2 strikes, you always finish up on that lane.
Right in the pocket, it will be 6 in the spare. And a 132 second string. That's starting out with 4 open frames in a row. He had 36 after 4 boxes and finished with a 132.
That's a very good point. A 77 second half. 55 first half, 77 second half.
Now Steve Vadney. Right in the pocket. Tough lead.
Very tough. Inverted triangle. Not a pretty sight. That wood really isn't very helpful, I don't think.
You might have to play it, though. Oh, picked one off. So Gary Cormier got a lot of his lead back again. 9 box. 134.
Well, with a couple of marks here, that would put Vadney 27, 28 pins behind. So you're right. Gary Cormier has recaptured some of that 47 pins he came into this match leading by.
What can Vadney do in the 10th frame? He can throw a great ball, and he has a great shot at a mark.
The wood is probably 6 inches in front of the pin. As long as he hits it fairly dead on, he'll be okay.
144 plus a ball, so he will have the high string at least through 2. That's worth another 50 bucks for him.
The way these guys are going, somebody could top that next string.
It will be 9 in the spare and a string of 153 for Steve Vadney. So he cut a lot off the lead. Gary Cormier takes a 26-pin lead into the 3rd and final string as we continue with Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS-TV. All right, Steve Vadney will be first to bowl here in the 3rd string. He trails Gary Cormier by 26 pins.
There's a mess.
Yeah, he threw a pretty good ball, too, and look what he has to show for it.
5, 7, 9, and 10, but he's got some wood that could spray around and help the cause.
Yeah, it didn't spray enough that time. Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS-TV is presented by the Thompson family of dealerships, McMulkin Chevrolet, Nashua Hyundai, Nashua Mitsubishi, and Nashua Daewoo, all located in the New England Automotive Village on the Daniel Webster Highway in Nashua, and by Tri-State Megabucks and the New Hampshire Lottery. Have you played your number today?
Well, he certainly deserved better than that on a pretty decent right side pocket hit. And even though that wood looks like it might be helpful in front of the 4-7, it isn't. It's too far in front, actually. I think it's good. Yeah, we're going to have Paul Willett run down and make sure it's not over the fair play line, the I should call it the deadwood line. I think it's okay. And
it is okay.
It is okay.
Paul's going to let it stay there.
Steve took a look back at us, wondering if he should shoot at it. Naturally, he'd rather not have it there, and
yeah, he's got to go around it. He's going to go right at it, and that's why he didn't want it there.
So he's still got the 4, 7, and 10, minus 1 piece of deadwood.
And that will be an 8 box. Gary Cormier making his TV debut. We mentioned a lot of family and friends up from Gardner here to watch his performance. Some pins danced around on that one.
Is that the 5
1
pin?
and the 5. It's now the 4.5, I think. They moved a little bit. He's got him. Spare for Gary Cormier. 98-99 WCBC Rookie of the Year. Rated 14th last year on the WCBC Tour. In the pocket, 9 in the spare.
His cousin Kevin Cormier, who does CandlepinCorner.com, as we've been telling you about, is also an organizer of a brand new junior bowling league. I got an email. Let me just read a little bit of it to you. New NBA Junior Travel League is co-organized by Bart Medeiros and Kevin Cormier. They got it underway back in December at Pilgrim Lane. 6 teams of 4 bowlers in the league representing Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill, Ryan's Bowl away in Gardner, Leo's Super Bowl in Amesbury, Wall X Rec in Waltham, Ipswich Lanes, Ipswich, And the Metro Bowl in Peabody, the league meets one Sunday a month in a designated bowling center at 10, is 100% handicap, and the team with the highest three-string total with handicap takes home the hefty NBA Travel League trophy for the month. Take it back to their bowling center with bragging rights, I guess. And the next time these kids will be bowling, in case you'd like to watch, on March 17th, a Sunday at Wallex, starting at 10 a.m.
Spare for Steve Vadney in the third frame. He put it right in the pocket, and look what he has. He's got the 6, 7, 8, and 9. And like my best wishes.
Yeah. Not an easy shot.
Oh, look at that shot by Steve Vadney. What a great shot by Steve Vadney. And look at the response he's getting from the crowd here at Leda Lanes. They're on their feet, giving him a standing O.
That's about the only way that you could make that shot.
A domino effect type shot.
Gary Cormier is perfect so far through 2 frames. This could be his 3rd consecutive spare.
It is.
By the way, if you'd like more information on the Mass Bowling Association's Junior Travel League that I just spoke of, go to candlepincorner.com and get a lot more information all about the bowlers, where they'll be, and the idea of the Junior Traveling League, which has been off to a great successful start so far. First open now for Gary Cormier, who just barely missed the head pin on the 1-2 combination.
And a 9 box. Here we go to the break. Steve Vadney trailing by 47 pins. Heading down the home stretch. We continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Steve Vadney ready to go. Lane 34, Leda Lanes, Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz, Mike Moore, and Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Working on a spare. He's had some god-awful leaps.
Well, this one is a walk in the park compared to the shot he had a couple of minutes ago.
Got to deflect that ball over. He made it. 3 marks in a row for Steve Vadney. Another $50 in bonus money for Steve. He's got $175 in bonus money, as does Gary Cormier.
He is not going away quietly, despite being in a fairly big hole yet.
Put that one right in the pocket. Could have used a strike, but he's got a pretty good setup here for another mark.
Both bowlers winning bonus money this game, and Steve Vadney hopes to add another $25 right here.
And he does just that. $200 in bonus money. I don't think we've given away $200 in bonus money in very many matches. We've got a chance to do it twice here now. Here's Gary Cormier, missed the head pin.
Now we'll see how Gary Cormier, the newbie, if you will, of televised bowling, holds up under the increased pressure now from veteran Steve Vadney.
Made a nice shot trying to pick up the spare, but he will be open. $10 box.
Still holding on to about between a 20 and 30 pin lead with half a string to go.
4 horsemen left side.
Now there's a shot, a configuration of pins we haven't seen much the last couple of weeks. We've seen very few 4 horsemen.
Not going to make it. He'll be open in the 6th. So Steve Vadney has a little bit of an opening. That'll be a 10 box, 84. Steve Vadney now needs to mark. He really needs to continue marking.
Steve Vadney, WCBC Pro Bowler of the Year, 1999-2000, against the Rookie of the Year, Gary Cormier, back in 1988-99. So both bowlers with distinction in their careers in that respect.
Just put 5 in the mark.
And frame to frame, this game is tied. the Cormier lead remains at 26. That's where it started at the beginning of this game.
And a spare for Steve Vadney. His 5th in a row.
You're losing track of the bonus money.
225 now for Steve Vadney.
He had 6 marks in a row last game, I think. 5 spares in the strike, and he's now on 5 marks in a row this game.
Off the head pin, half Worcester. That hurts.
That is a rally killer right there.
That hurts a lot.
But he's proven he can make these difficult spare conversions.
Now he's in trouble. Now it's safe to say he's in trouble. Look at that 10 box. Wow.
Got to give him credit. Normally you'd go for the short 2 in the corner, but he said, I'm going for it all. And took a chance, and it paid off.
1 mark here by Gary Cormier could just about slam the door on Steve Vadney. He wiped out the 7-pin. He's got the wood frozen on the 2-pin.
It's unbelievable action on his ball.
He missed it. Even though it was frozen, he knocked it away. I think it was frozen. It looked frozen.
Tough to say. It should have gone if it was.
Yeah. That'll be a 10 box. Four open frames in a row now for Gary Cormier after he started out with 3 marks in a row. And look at this. How do you do?
Punch that
the
one
5s
right
in the
through.
middle, the 4 and 7 on the left, the 6 and 10 on the right. Wood on both sides of the lane. Very symmetrical leave. And he got 4 of the 5.
Well, there you go, folks. That's how you shoot that one. You go for the tip of one of the pins on either side and try to do what he just did.
Another open frame. He pins very well. 104. A 24-pin lead, 2 boxes to go. Steve Vadney needs to strike out just about. With $1,050 in the triple strike jackpot, he just about needs to win it.
$300 to our runner-up today. Mike Morgan standing by to take on the winner of this match next week.
Well, you got the 4 horsemen on the left side. The wood is angled.
It's not good wood, though, because it redirects the pins in a way that they wouldn't normally go, even if you hit it right.
See, just like that. So he will be open. Nine box for Steve Vadney, 115. Triple strike is about the only thing he could do to even apply a little pressure on Gary Cormier, and I'm not sure that would do it. Well off the head pin. The 1, 3, and 9.
Even a spare strike here gives him 385.
Yep, there it goes. It came back to kick it.
Small consolation. Because
Gary Cormier's already 380.
Yeah, he's going to get more than 5 pins in two frames. So decision Cormier here. It's just a formality at this point.
And that will be a 6 and a 131. Third string, a 3-string total of 381. And Gary Cormier is already at 380. There it is. Gary Cormier has won the match. And so now we're looking at bonus money and to see what the final score will be.
He's got a nice shot at 400, but he'll need a mark, or at least 2 10s, because he's got 380 through 8.
390 through 9.
Nice television debut. Average 126, so he'll beat that today by a few sticks.
Breaks up the split. Got a good shot at that 400 triple now, doesn't he?
Sure
the only way he
does.
won't get it is if he puts it in the gutter and loses the pin. It's a spare. He's at 400, right on the nose, plus whatever he gets on this ball.
And he gets a round of applause from his opponent, gentleman Steve Vadney.
If you're going to lose, you might as well lose to a 400 triple, right?
We've seen 400s be losing scores, too, in the recent past.
And he finishes with a 9, a 133 third string, a 409 triple for Gary Cormier in his TV debut, and he defeats Steve Vadney 409 to 381. We'll come back to talk to our bowlers when we return to Alita Lanes in Nashua for WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Gary Cormier defeats Steve Vadney in the final score 409 to 381. We're with Steve Vadney. We've got the consolation check for $300. We've got some bonus money for you as well, $50 for having the highest string and $225 in bonus money. You've been on TV, what, 100 times or so over the years? This was Gary's first time on TV. Do you remember back to time number 1, the first time you were on television?
Oh, yeah, I think it never leaves you. But, and, you know, you always have some butterflies until you get the first couple of boxes. Gary says, my first time on TV, so take it easy on me. Well, I guess I took it easy too much in the first game. But off the headpin, can't get scores off the headpin.
But yeah, they did have the high game at the middle string. It was a 150, 153. That earned you an extra $50. Crazy game, Candlepin bowling. 97 one string, 153 the next.
Yeah, right. You never know. You're never out of it until the, as they say, the fat lady sings. But I needed a couple more boxes today.
Let me guess where some of this money might be going. You know, your son Steven, you have a couple of classic automobiles. Does that require a fair amount of money to keep those things going and upgraded?
Yeah, it sure does. And but this money here is not going to go towards those. We're going on a cruise at the end of the month, so I think that's where it's going to go. Yeah,
that's a good place for it. Steve, thank you very much. Congratulations to you. We'll see you again.
Have a great cruise.
Steve Vadney, our runner-up. Now Gary Cormier will step up to lane 33. We'll do the bonus ball contest, and we'll try to match him up with a winner at home. It is, as they still fall, it looks like it's a 4. Michael, you got a 4 in there?
I got to dig real deep for a 4,
Let's see if
Gary.
you can grab a 4 out of there. You didn't do the job, did you? No. This is Varney Zuis of Brockton, Massachusetts. 8 is the number, and it's a consolation prize from N&R Trophies in Winchendon, Massachusetts. Let's bring up this afternoon's winner, Gary Cormier from Gardner, Massachusetts. That's a pretty good debut for a first-timer. You said you were nervous before the match. How'd you feel once you got started?
Yeah, after the first couple of boxes, it just started relaxing. Helped to have my whole home crowd behind me, too.
I was going to ask you about that. Did that settle you down a little bit, knowing that you had all that support?
Yeah, it did. They were the only ones I could hear, just like I do every time during league.
Gary, speaking of some of the people that are here today, there's a fellow back there named Teddy who's telling us about some of the bonus structure that you have as incentive for your bowling. Every time you get a spare, you get a Tootsie Roll, and every time you get a strike, a cream-filled caramel. Is that true?
Can you tell?
The same guy, Teddy, was telling me that he has a pair of bowling shoes. I'm not sure how old he is. I'm sure you know Teddy. Yep. He's had them since 1939, which is, what, 62 years, and he paid $3.95, still using the same bowling shoes.
Yep. Been around since that bowling alley opened.
Amazing.
Well, one of the things Brian Favre was telling me, you bowled a 202 not that long ago for a high of 208 bowled by another fella at the lanes. The pins jacked up at that lanes?
I don't know what's going on over there, but I like it.
I don't blame you one bit. What thoughts did you have coming in first time on TV? What were you expecting, and how did you prepare for it?
I just tried to stay focused on the pins, try not to let the lights and the camera bother me, and just bowl my game.
You have a whole bunch of family members here. Who'd you bring with you?
My grandmother, my girlfriend, my mother. My father is back there somewhere, aunts, uncles, cousins.
I know you have, I think he's a nephew named Adam, right?
Yes.
And this kid, he's what, about 6 or 7 years old?
I believe he's 8.
Recently, he bowled over 600 for 5 strings, which is phenomenal. That's better than a 120 average.
I don't want to bowl him.
Well, Dick, if you and I are fortunate enough to still be doing the show in 10 years, I think Adam Cormier will be possibly bowling his uncle.
Well, aside from winning the match and moving on next week, we have $175 in bonus money for you, Gary. And next week, you take on Mike Morgan, and we look forward to that.
Thank you very much.
Gary Cormier, our winner this afternoon. Thank you very much, Gary Cormier. And that sets us up for our championship match next week. And it should be a great one.
Ought to be a great one. The fireballer, Gary Cormier, takes on the great rock of this game, Mike Morgan. Now, his brother Tom Morgan qualified for the Tournament of Champions back 3 weeks ago when he beat Chris Bovair, a former Tournament of Champions winner himself. So Tom Morgan's already seeded. If Mike Morgan wins next week, it could be Morgan versus Morgan in the Tournament of Champions.
We shall wait to see how that plays out, and that'll do it from Leda Lanes in Nashua. Our winner this afternoon, Gary Cormier over Steve Vadney, 409 to 381, setting up next week's match with Gary Cormier and Mike Morgan. For Mike Moran and our entire crew, I'm Dick Lusk from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. So long, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. And remember, let's go bowling.